This is one word, two syllables. Ridiculous, right?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. I'm your host, Phil Robb. You know me. What's happening? We skipped out on the bye week. I missed you guys. It was brought to my attention by some of the homies that just wanted to make sure I was all right. Because, you know, when a week goes by that you don't get the Unfiltered Truth, you get the feeling you want to check up on your boy and make sure he's not sick. And I do appreciate that. So thank you. But today, we are here to talk about I'll get to you in a minute, Hefe. But we are here to talk about the Minnesota Vikings and the Week 13 matchup in the desert. And for that, I have the practitioner of the Purple Power of Positivity podcast, Mr. Justin Ekstrom. Justin, what's happening, player? How you doing?
Oh, doing good, man. It's nice to know that people actually care. People will be like, what? He was gone?
Right?
Be like, oh, that's good. Like, I'm just glad we connected because we should be going to this game together. But, you know, life.
Funny thing, it always manages to come out and do its own thing. Am I echoing still?
You got a little echo. I don't know if I thought that was maybe my end, but
how about now?
That's better.
Okay, cool. I'll move forward with that then. Yeah,
somebody teasing you about the echo.
Well, no, just want to make sure it's all good because there have been times when I know I brought my soundboard off to the side and we ran through this without doing a proper sound check, so that's my bad. But we're gonna keep pushing through and make it happen. Yes, it is week 14. Thank you, Mr. Evans. It's the 13th game for the Raiders because of the bye week. The bye week had me messed up. So now that we've gotten all these technical difficulties, will anybody else want to bring something up in the comments section real quick? Now I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Vikings. Why should I be scared of the Vikings?
Dude, like if you could tell me why they're scary, that would be great because I'd have a lot more stuff for my Purple Positivity podcast because right now they don't look all that scary. Like they decided to go with Josh Dobbs again. What type of Dobbs are we going to get? I don't know, man. But I'll tell you right now, if you and I are in our regular big boy jobs and we screw something up like 6 times to the tune of 6 turnovers, say we're shingling a house together and we screw up 6 of the 10 roofs that we did, we're probably not having a job.
No.
And I mean, the leeway has passed. Like, I mean, he had that game where he came in and it's something I've never seen a Viking quarterback do, just come off the street and Kurt Warner the shit. Like I've never seen that before. It's always against us. Kyle Orton, you know, like that, those where he was bagging groceries or whatever it is. Goodness gracious, you know. Dobbs is like a box of chocolates. Like, wait, you know, you seriously don't know what you're going to get. One week it's caramel, the next week it's that fucking coconut.
Getting that dark, bitter chocolate, no bittersweet, just bitter.
Yeah, just bitter ickiness.
Yeah. Pure cocoa. But and that intrigues me about him is that you never know what you're gonna get. You got a guy who, if you don't pay attention to him, can beat anyone because you've seen him beat the likes of Dallas and to win some other games and keep his team in games that he had no business being in. And then you see games where they can't score anything against the Bears.
It's dude, I'm telling you, like both our franchises, it's a statistical anomaly. It's like they lose when they should lose, and they also lose when they're supposed to win. But sometimes they win when they're supposed to lose, and you don't know which is which. You don't know what's coming when or where or anything like that. Like this game right now, it's a battle of who are we's? Like what? Seriously, what are our teams right now? They're two different types of pillagers and plunderers, but which one's going to pillage, which one's going to plunder, and which one's going to burn? Like I have no idea.
Man, that's a true statement right there, because you could it's almost like holding up a mirror at each other and seeing who's going to blink first. The Raiders
Did you guys say who's? Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you guys said who's going to be quarterback this week or not. Is it going to be Jimmy G?
I don't know why it would be. Nobody said. I haven't heard anything about James Richard Garoppolo. He doesn't earn Jimmy G anymore.
Okay.
Not when you leave.
My bad. I didn't know that was that soft.
No, that that one stings. But it's crazy. You look at the Vikings, you look at the Raiders, and they got a lot of the same thing going on. And your coaching situation obviously is a little bit more solid. You got the game breaker wide receiver, a good tight end. You got the secondary wide receiver who's pretty damn good. You got I don't know really what the running back situation is looking like, to be honest with you. Some days it looks like it's there, some days it looks like it doesn't. But there's the whole inconsistency issue that plagues the very same Raiders.
That's it. It's just the most. We do not have like that given identity. When Justin Jefferson is not out there, there's just no identity. And I thought maybe when Cam Akers came in, we were going to have one of those things that we finally have that tack hammer, that guy that can kind of be a little more Dalvin Cook-esque, and then he gets hurt. So I think we all like Ty Chandler. We like Tyson Chandler. We liked him coming out of college. Most of us did. But is he an everyday back? Absolutely not. And Madison, he's still missing some of those cutbacks that Dalvin Cook takes 81 yards to the house to put games away. And we don't have that. We turned the ball over 6 times in the last 2 weeks from your quarterback, and we lost by a total of 3 points. That's a statistical anomaly. Like that, those are things that shouldn't happen. But you and I are preaching to the choir because we're Raiders and Vikings fans. Like what can happen that's piss poor does and will.
Almost like, let's see what creative ways we can find to blow it this time. Let me just sit back and grab some popcorn. I can't wait to see this. How we are going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory this time.
I'm telling right now, if you guys have any pass rush up the middle, we might be screwed. Like that, if you can get anything up the middle on that porous offensive line in the middle, in my humble opinion, you guys could probably flip this on its script. I think I saw 2.5-point favorites, the Vikings, earlier today. It's a coin flip, in my opinion. And if you get any pass rush up the middle, I think it might be a long day for no matter. I think if Dobbs stinks in the first half, it's going to be slick Nick Mullins, man. Like I think they switched to him.
Wow. Whew, I hope not, because the Raiders have a long-standing tradition of having the backup quarterback come in and just light it up for some odd reason, and I would really hate to see that. I'd prefer that if Josh Dobbs is going to struggle, that he continues to struggle on the field for at least another 60 minutes, and you can start him next week.
That's spoken like a true Raiders fan. I mean, when you and I talk about each other's teams, our own teams, you could trade Raiders for Vikings and Vikings for Raiders, because long history of these weird losses that should be wins. And this is one of those, like, what are you? For the Vikings, I'm talking, are you a playoff team? Then this is a game that you have to win. I'm not saying you have to win convincingly, but you have to win. And what are we? Because then you got the Jake Browning Revenge Bowl waiting like that. Is that what we want to see?
No.
Nope. I don't want to be down a loss and then go to the Jake Browning Revenge Bowl. He looked awfully good on Monday Night Football. That offense still scares me. You got Chase and Mixon. Mixon's kind of a shell. It's weird with him, but he's still a goal line monger. And that's where, I don't know, Vikings kind of struggle with that. But to this game right now, it just seems, it has a feel of like a 17-13 game where it's just gross. This Raiders-Vikings game is what I'm saying. Like, it just has a game where it's like both teams might kind of trip over themselves a little bit, try to get a little too cute with the offense, like Kevin O'Connell likes to try to do. You know, why wouldn't you try like a double reverse halfback pass when you ran for 3 straight first downs? Like, why not? Let's try that and then be 2nd and 27. That sounds great. Let's do that.
They'd never see it coming. They'd never expect it. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I know you guys. I can't complain about the coaching because right now you guys are in flux, and you and I were talking about this a little while back, and we didn't like that hire to begin with.
No,
but we hate. I think he's basically like. Hopefully he's done, because I don't want to see that experience anymore. I don't want to see the Josh McDaniels experience anymore.
I prefer that he took his act to Kansas City and he stayed there for the next 20 to 30 years. And he enjoyed a long, illustrious career as the head coach there so that he could be their version of Brandon Staley.
Ooh, them's fighting words.
Only if you're a Chargers fan, but I too would. Yep. I'm ready to pass around the hat so that we can pick up Brandon Staley's salary so that he does not get fired.
Yeah. Who knows with that one too, but we have
a fucking idiot. Man, I'm sorry. That dude is a fucking idiot.
I tend to agree. I like Kevin O'Connell for us, but he's become predictable. And he can't, like, the reason why he became a head coach is because we thought there was going to be this, you know, not just us, not just the Vikings. We thought there was going to be this offensive onslaught where you can put out any defense you fucking wanted to, and it wouldn't matter because your prolific offense is your best defense. But we just never saw it. Like, what happened to some of that? There were so many times where they can put the game away. Remember when the Rams won the Super Bowl? Like, what were they best at? They were already up by 16. They got up by 26 in like 2 series. They didn't even think anything of it. They just kept throwing, kept going to Cooper Kupp. Like, why take that play out of it? Like, I don't understand. It's just put the game away. That's what you were brought here for, and I haven't seen it yet.
And as you stated, we could easily take that very same argument, spin it 180 degrees, but where you were mistaken, and I have to say, is that we could not switch places because the Vikings have no Super Bowl rings and the Raiders do.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, the Raiders actually won a Super Bowl in my lifetime, and I've actually got to watch them in a Super Bowl in my lifetime, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a shame it wasn't them beating the Vikings in the Super Bowl.
I didn't get to see that one, of course, but it happened. It did happen.
It did happen.
That would be like, that's my creme de la creme. That's my dream Super Bowl. I've always, you know this about me, man. We go back, 6-7 years now?
Yeah.
You know that I would, like, if I was out there, I'd be like the full-fledged Raiders fan. I don't know if I could do a purple positivity out there because I would probably get bludgeoned to death with Sir Death's hammer, but
oh, Sir Death's hammer, please. They would love you out there with the power of positivity. This is a new Raider fan now. We do things differently. Nobody's getting beat up in the stadium anymore. It could be worse. You could be some Niner fans where you can't afford to go to the bathroom because you get jumped from behind with your meat in your hands.
A lot of switchblades there. I hear a lot of a lot of weapons being let in that place. That's
Really?
that's just what I hear, of course, but we'll see.
I was gonna say their security looked top notch when I was there, but looked like a bunch of ex-military cats personally. But all right, I'll take your
Yeah,
word
okay.
for it.
That's the thing though too. The Vikes beat the Niners. Sometimes it's not who you play; it's when you play them.
Yes,
And the Vikes have that game in hand. That's an NFC powerhouse. So you have that once you start jockeying for position. I believe they're in the 6th or the 7th spot. Depends on what type of criteria you look. I looked Monday. I think they were still in the 6th spot for the NFC. So if you have a win against them, but you also have a loss against, the Bucks on week 1, who will be jockeying for a possible playoff spot if you believe that sort of thing. And you got a loss to the freaking Bears, 12-10. Like I don't, and it's scary. It's scary because I've had 2 weeks for this to fester, like 2 weeks for that loss to kind of just fester in the open wound. And they didn't name a quarterback until today. They didn't decide Josh Dobbs was your guy until Tuesday. Like if you want to show positivity to a guy, once you say he's our guy, not, hey, I got to go look at the film for 9 days and then make him my guy.
It comes back to the 6 turnovers that which you so eloquently spoke about when we started this. Once a guy is out there giving the ball to the other team 6 times in 2 weeks, I gotta convince myself that I'm gonna be positive about this move.
Was Jaron Hall that bad in his half of play? Like, I know he was considered second string-ish, and they started him. Like, once you go back to him, like, what are you overthinking? You don't want any other teams to see him do well and snipe him? I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, me personally, I would go with Jaron Hall and have that offense around him because he looked like he could move the ball. But then Dobbs comes in and becomes the sweetheart in order for us to the Vikings people, the Vikings team, they I'm going to salute too. I'm going to salute Mike Abizzi.
There you go. Milk Abizzi. Best name in YouTube right there.
Oh yeah, Milkabee. There we go. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, anytime that somebody does something good, it seems like in order for us to hurt more later on down the line, like it's just he steals our heart and then steals our soul all in like 4 weeks.
And in those, he got you just close enough to screw up your draft stock at the end of the year when you don't make it.
I never care. In today's day and age, does that really matter? If you really want to trade for the number 1 overall pick, you can do it. Like
yes.
We saw the Rams fail at it twice and then win a Super Bowl. We saw the Niners fail at it twice, and they're a perennial powerhouse. Like if there's a guy that you want bad enough and you know you can draft good enough, go fucking get him. It doesn't matter. Go get him.
Or in our particular case, if you've got all of these draft picks and you use them and you can't seem to do anything with them once you used them, you might as well pack them up and give them to somebody else and go get your guy because you clearly don't know how to use them.
Yeah, 16 or 17 people are telling you this is the guy. Well, go listen to it. But it seems like our franchises listen to the one guy that says this is the guy. Hey, this is your guy. You should go get Christian Ponder. Oh, okay. Great. Like, sounds great. Then we get Kirk Cousins, who's like, the most Minnesota style, like the Minnesota mediocre milkman, just does his job day in and day out, just enough not to get fired. Every once in a while, he does something really, really great. And then every once in a while, he does something really, really terrible. And then we wish we fucking had him now. What's that 80s song? Don't know what you got till it's gone. Like that Poison song or whatever it is.
Man, I don't know, but when you talk about Kirk has made a lot of guaranteed money for not a lot of guaranteed success and results. And like you say, you want to talk about the king of mid, but our former quarterback would also be the king. Well, he's not even mid anymore, but we would be having a mid off.
Yeah. It's what do you guys got in your quarterback room right now? What is it? Is that something scary?
Oh, we got the rookie Aiden O'Connell, don't you know?
Oh, well, okay, sounds great. If he can run, they got a chance. If they can't run, then they might not have a chance.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was out loud. I didn't mean to laugh like that out loud. He said, "Can Aiden O'Connell run?"
Because if he can, it's
Oh.
that's how you beat Brian Flores.
By the time you finish drinking that scotch that you have in your cup right now, you and go outside and stretch, you will still, I guarantee you, in beer league softball, run to first faster than Aiden O'Connell can run on the football field.
Then it might be a long day.
I shit you not. If there's one guy that you ain't got to worry about running anywhere, it's that man. That man is not going to run anywhere.
Then that's why when we started this, why should you be scared? It's because Brian Flores loves a non-mobile quarterback when he gets to go after him.
He's going to love this one.
Yeah, that could be the piece of it. It is still amazing to me that it's like a 2.5 point spread and it moves a little bit here and there. I don't think I've seen the Raiders favored in it yet, but it's been one of those that's been kind of moving around a little bit between 3.5 and 1.5 in favor of the Vikings. But it's still in my mind. I don't know what I've been watching. I don't know what I've been listening to on the radio. Is this a team that is playoff worthy? I don't know. I have more faith in their defense than I did in their 13-win season last year. Because Brian Flores is, trying to write his own checks, and so is Danielle Hunter.
Right.
I said if Danielle Hunter came on, if he came on a 1-year prove-it type deal with this Brian Flores defense, he was going to get 17 sacks. Not very often, am I right? But it looks like it's damn close. Like he could end at exactly 17 if he keeps at this pace.
Right. He's been having a great year, and his skill set is one that I will say is better suited, can really wreak havoc on the Raiders. The edge, if you can get a quick first step on Illuminor, I've seen Khalil Mack at 32 just absolutely take his lunch from him.
Khalil Mack still has the step.
Well, you look at that total of 15 and how he's leading the league, and just remember that 6 of them came against the right tackle that he beat out of his stance against a coach that refused to send a back over there to chip, or even let alone slide the protection to save his rookie.
That's the thing, though, too. Like these coaches, when you see your guy get their lunch money stolen, why don't you protect them? Why don't you move things over? Why don't you set things up? These are offensive geniuses. Should be able to figure that out, right?
If you don't pay me millions of dollars, and I can see it plain as day in my TV a few hundred miles away.
Well, it takes most of the games. You watch the all 22 on Tuesday morning. You got 5 or 6 clicks. You can see how the offensive line is going to do that day. That's just the way the NFL is. You can tell, and then you can mimic other things. You can like fleece it. You can cover the ways you're going to run. You can do that, but it doesn't seem like my coach or your coach likes to do that.
Well, we've got a new coach. Oh, you don't,
right.
But I do. And I happen to like the new coach. Now, the new coach is learning on the job, but the new coach has got morale where it's supposed to be. The new coach has got the culture what it's looking like what it's supposed to be. They look like a modern NFL franchise out there playing football games, and I have belief in them. Now, where our season ends remains to be seen, and I would hope that we get to see some more of Antonio Pierce, and even he gets an opportunity. If nothing else, he gets at least a year to bring in his guys and see what he can do with a full year.
What was his coaching background? Like, was this just kind of like a Saturday type situation where they're like, hey, let's try this?
It's not quite Saturday. So he's been obviously he's been a high school head football coach in Long Beach. But then he was coaching under Herm at Arizona State, and he was the defensive coordinator. And he was there for a couple years. And then he came in and he was the linebackers coach, not a special teams coach. And did I mention he was a Super Bowl champion that knocked off the 07 Patriots?
Yeah, you didn't have to tell me that because I lost some money because of him. So, like, you know, I
quite a bit, I'm sure.
If I had more money, I would have lost more money because I put about as much as I possibly could have on that. I did not expect that.
You should have, after the way they narrowly escaped defeat in Week 17 against the very same Giants. I'd looked at that.
Yeah.
They should have won that game, and if they play them again, they're going to beat them.
I wish you would have told me that before I backed the Brinks truck up.
Well, I can tell you that officiating has cost me quite a bit of money in my lifetime as a Raiders fan.
I bet.
Quite a bit.
My favorite is the apology, the NFL apology, otherwise known as the Minnesota Vikings letter. Oh yeah, sorry we missed that one. Sorry. Josh Dobbs' head basically came off his shoulders. Like, he's already got a long, narrow neck anyway. But like, he was the Rock'em Sock'em Robots when the head gets knocked off, and it wasn't a penalty, but the dude gets fined 4 games and however many millions of dollars. Like, are you going to sit there and tell me that's supposed to make me feel better? It just doesn't.
Like, dude jumped onto his head.
A player in which is known to do exactly that. Like a player that, you know, because he did it, got 4-game suspension because it is not his first suspension. Like, and then there's no laundry that comes out of the back pocket of the line judge. I mean, that should have at least been the umpire. Should have been something.
Hey, just do me a favor and go ahead and just cry me that river, bro. I don't want to hear about the officiating.
No, I got you.
I've seen plenty of it, especially when playing the Chiefs fans. I got a Chiefs fan in here right now who'll say, "Oh, how about the Chiefs? Hey, you know, when my offensive line can get away with strangling guys with hurt knees and making sure you grab both hands around the waist like you're slow dancing on salsa night, it is what it is." Said anybody can beat a team that you get no pass rush and they're giving you 8, 9, 10 yards every single play.
God, I love it when you outwhine me. It is the best. Like, I'm a whiny little bitch, but when you outwine me, it's good fucking radio. It's good TV, man. I just love it.
I've watched it, the pain right here in the chest.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of that is like, you know, barbecue that I've had and whatnot, and you know, and thick ass bourbon. I know that's straining it, but what I've learned though too, in my infinite 40 years, what I've learned is you can't let it ruin your day. A 6-6 team, like I've come to enjoy like watching the game, saying, man, I wish they would have done better, or I'm glad they did as good as they did, and then just go on with my day, go hang out with my kids, go for a bike ride. It's a lot better than you see those Cowboys fans breaking TVs and whatnot. Like, it's a lot better than that. TVs are kind of a dime a dozen right now, but I mean, you know, if it gets you cred, or, you know, do they stay do they still say for the gram? To like
For the gram, I don't know. I'm pretty old myself. I don't do those. I just saw that Riz was nominated the word of 2023, and I was just astounded at that. Riz.
So you're gonna have to help me. I'm a central Minnesota pile of goo. I don't know what Riz means. What does Riz mean?
So that's the new game. That's the new having it for in relationship attraction.
Oh, you say they got the Riz?
Yeah.
That almost sounds like the HIV. And from what I've been told, the HIV is bad.
I didn't come up with it. I didn't come up with it.
Do your kids say it and you're like, what did you just say?
Oh yes. I've heard it all. I've the Riz. My stepson told his brother, said, yeah, you got that light-skinned stick. I almost spit out my drink. What the hell did you just say? The light-skinned, the hell is that?
It's actually kind of funny.
He'd just be looking at him and he just got it. He got that. And then the youngest comes out, he's got Riz.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm probably not like flabbergasting anyone with this because they can see how white as fuck I am. But like, I had never heard that term until 13 seconds ago. Riz.
It was one of those things when my son said it, I was like, what did you do? Riz, what is that? I was the same boat as you. I was like, somebody's gonna have to explain this to me. I don't get it.
Is that like charisma? Like Riz?
See, you're putting thought into it, and that's close. If I was a bet man, I'd go with that, and I'd sell it, and somebody would believe it.
Good enough for me. That's what we're gonna start saying, because even sus, you know where it comes from. Right. Like when they say sus or bet, when kids were saying bet, like I know what that's from. I worked at a jail for 17 years. I know what that means. Bet.
Yeah,
I know. And I got other terms that I can't say on things like this, but
right.
But it's like, I don't hear any of them in central Minnesota here saying Riz. I'm going to ask tomorrow when I go to jail. I'm going to be like, do you guys know what Riz means? And if they don't, then I'm not going to feel as bad.
And when they tell you and you just find out that you missed the boat, then you'll know that it's over. You completely washed. It's all downhill from this point.
Well, when you say miss the boat, that's the 80s, addendum that I need to hear. Like that's and then I'm going to use another one. That's up my alley. That is in my wheelhouse. Like those are fucking terms I know. Like I'm Captain America that says I understand that reference. Like I get I'm that.
Right.
Man, I love how off topic we get. It's good stuff.
Hey, sometimes you got to laugh through the pain, because we could sit here and we could go lineup for lineup, blow for blow. Is Justin Jefferson better than Davante Adams, or is Davante Adams better? Well, at this stage in his career, Justin Jefferson is who Davante Adams was when Davante Adams was his age.
Yeah, and then everyone gets all mad. They're like this and that, and this type of wide receiver is better than this wide receiver. They're both phenomenal. Davante Adams is still really fucking good. He just doesn't have a guy consistently getting him the rock like he should. And I love Davante Adams. I just think Justin Jefferson right now is exactly what you said. He is what Davante Adams was in Green Bay. Like they are it. They are so good. They're on the same plane as Tyreek Hill still. I think they're both. I think in a healthy Cooper Kupp, like they can run every route that you need them to run. You just got to get an offensive line to be able to give your quarterback time.
And somebody who can deliver a catchable ball to them in
Right.
the proper windows. And some of that, and one of the issues with, and it's not so much as an issue, but I mean, you got Devontae out there working with a rookie quarterback after he's already been through the two veterans on this team who produced absolutely nothing. So you give him some stale quarterback play at best, and a guy who, if you give him time, can deliver a pass. But the quarterback's not doing very much to help him out, because he's at his best when the quarterback can buy some time and cause some breakdowns in the defense so that he's not seeing traditional double teams all game long.
That's it. Like you brought to my question here. For my coach, Kevin O'Connell, how come you are coaching and calling more bootlegs with Kirk Cousins as opposed to Josh Dobbs? Like, wait, the percentage of bootlegs that they were running with Cousins compared to Dobbs, like, you should be moving that pocket. Am I wrong here? Like, you should be moving that pocket for Dobbs to be out on the run, give him that little bit of an option. But you were doing that with white ass Kirk Cousins.
So I'll take a stab at that. So the thing with that with Kirk Cousins is, at no point was Kirk Cousins a threat to run. So you knew that at least doing that, you could get some better spacing, and he would be able to throw the ball and properly dissect who will be open and who won't be open. If you put Josh Dobbs on the move, you could have 5 wide Randy Mosses out there, and they're never going to see the ball.
Fair. That's fair. That's an answer. It's the right answer. It's just you still think you'd want to give him a 50% shot. Like, at least design some things going towards his way. Like a couple balls that I've seen him throw, and then you see the ball that he threw to a wide open Jordan Addison. Like, it doesn't make any sense. That's the same guy throwing those balls.
Mm-hmm.
Like the touchdown he threw a couple weeks ago to the pylon, throw the guy open, diving down the only spot where, there was literally 6 inches where that ball could be, and he hits that. And then you have 60 feet to hit Jordan Addison, and you can't. Like, I might be underselling. Like, he had more than 60 feet. He had 3/4 of the football field where he could have anywhere else other than that 6 inches on the sideline. And then if Addison was, 6'3" instead of 6'2.5", he's probably keeping his feet in bounds. Like, what? Just because you're a rookie, it's okay to catch the ball down like this instead of, high. And I can't make fun of him because he's good.
Yeah,
he is phenomenal. It's just like two decent players both did a knuckleheadism on a game-changing play in which we're talking about a 12-10 loss to the fucking Bears, Phil. Like, it's just to the Bears.
I watched the Bears put up a lot of points against the Raiders and was just spellbound to watching Deontay Foreman looking like he was back in Texas, thinking, is there anyone who is going to step in front of this man and tackle him? He just running through the line like you playing Ring Around the Rosie. Or not, Red Rover. Just send him right over, and he just busting through.
And that stiff arm that he was giving the linebackers, you're like, is that Earl Campbell? Like, what just happened?
Man, that's a face mask. That's what that is. That's a penalty.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
You'll be calling it on the defense, hands to the face in a heartbeat, but that running back play.
Yeah, I don't get how they can do that, where they can just kind of move the face mask. That's something I was going to ask you too. Like, the officiating this year, it's not just me, but it is trash, right? Like, is it?
I'll say this now, and I try not to say this too many times, but but with what I've seen in terms of officiating, and knowing that that Park Avenue is now being piped in directly to the officials' ears, That's a very, very bad move, and it's very, very questionable about what's going on when you see the types of outcomes that you've seen.
It just I don't know. Like, is there any accountability? I can understand. I broadcast high school sports, and like they are held accountable. They don't get like the big games. They don't get to be asked back to U.S. Bank Stadium to officiate state championship games anymore if you fail. Like, there's that accountability because they're not doing it for the paycheck. Well, these officials, that's their job. And if you're like effing it up even 10 to 15% of the time, like, is there any accountability whatsoever? Doesn't seem like the NFL seems to, they'd rather punish players for non-flagged flags than the person that should have thrown the flag.
When you're more worried about money than the outcome, I wonder again. Like I said, you have to start asking some questions, because if it really screwed up the outcome of the game enough for you to find somebody and take them off the field moving forward, why wasn't the team that foul occurred on awarded the proper penalty, the first down, and the opportunity to continue to get the points that they needed in order to win the game?
Handicappers got to be losing their mind this year. Like, they got to be losing their mind, especially if they're looking at our two teams. How the hell do you handicap a Raiders and Vikings game in 2023?
-2.5, -1.5 as on the road. No home favorite, and the dog is the favorite is not by more than 3. I mean, that's as much of a toss up as you can call it.
They didn't do it authoritatively, I can tell you that much. They hee-hawed around. They were like, we think we're gonna go 2.5 the Vikings.
And then had the nerve to give you -115 on it.
Yeah, what the hell? They're like, yeah, this is the right move.
Yeah,
they just want you to fail so bad. You can't, like, I don't get how people make money betting against Vegas.
You gotta, if you know what you're doing, it can be done. But the reality is it's not even Vegas that you're betting against anymore.
You're right.
When you have a game that has rules that are supposed to be played a certain way, and the rules change at the drop of a hat, you have a compromised game.
You could go. So my old man, may you rest in peace, he just passed away not that long ago. He would always say, everyone, thanks, man. You flip a coin. Like, he would literally say, he would say this for NBA for sure. He goes, you flip a coin to see who's going to win 6 or 7 games. Then you flip a coin whether or not it's going to be 6 or 7 games. It's like the football. I would say, yeah, Dad, the Vikings lost. Oh, it just breaks my heart, because he could literally not give a shit about it. He's like, go out to the woods and get a fucking squirrel, okay? Like, yeah, we need to eat tonight or something, like something stupid like that. But that's the thing. Like, and he's right. Like, I have not been more convinced that it's completely rigged. Well, maybe not completely, that it's rigged to a certain extent than this year. It's just, you just look, somebody's got to have a spreadsheet somewhere. Yeah, see there, rigged. That's all. It's easy. Rigged. And they keep on bringing up the script thing. They keep on saying the script this, the script that. Might not be script down to the play, but I bet you it's script to like 6 to 8 teams that the NFL would want to see them succeed, and maybe put certain officiating crews on certain games. Like, I know I'm speaking to somebody that agrees with me, so it's a little easier to sound authoritative.
Right.
But you look at these officiating crews that are up in Green Bay doing those games over and over and over again. Like, of course they're going to be 6-6 behind Jordan Love, or like Kansas City always seems to get certain guys that don't call as much holding, but call more pass interference, or so
Up
there's
until recently, guys that weren't throwing the flag for illegal formations. Now, if you really want to talk about Kansas City, the most interesting phenomenon that has yet to have anybody say anything or do anything about is how many times do players take their helmets off on the field in front and right next to the refs? Instant 15-yard penalties that do not get called. They would be flagged for that at least 3-4 times a game. At
that
least.
happened in Minnesota. It wouldn't have been a first down, but they would have been backed up to about the 9-yard line, and a little tougher to run out a couple plays because that happened.
Personal foul is an automatic first down.
Yeah. Well, no. So after the play, if they take their helmet off, say the play's already done, because that's what happened in Minnesota with Kansas City. Because you're kind of speaking to the guy where that literally happened, where they didn't get flagged for that.
It happened in Las Vegas too.
Yeah, it's just where the official, the back judge or whatever says, "Put your helmet on. Put your helmet on." Dude, like that can't be. Like, I didn't think we were going to sit here and conspiracy theorize between Phil Robinson III and Justin Ekstrom from bumfuck Minnesota, but we're definitely on something, because it's like we're not dumb.
On to something, not on something.
Yeah. Well, I would, bourbon. I'm on bourbon, but
right. But you couldn't, honest and truthfully, you couldn't convince me that something wasn't going on, because I got eyes. I'm not blind. No. I see what's going on with the outcomes. I not got my tinfoil hat on. You make sure you hold up your antenna too with the hanger. Don't forget that. That part is key.
The Fox viewing position
in the lightning storm as well.
Yeah.
With the key. But the stuff that happens, it's getting more and more outlandish. Like, this shit never used to happen. Like, you sit back and watch this, and we're both in our 40s now, can honest and truthfully say we've got at least 20 and 30 years of watching football to know, after that long, for me to be saying I've never seen any shit like this before, something ain't right.
And we're not the only ones. Like, we're, when we're covering teams, we're pretty objective. I'll go down there and do objective reporting.
Right.
But this is a subject in which you get to be subjective, because you're not the only one. Like, because everyone is like, okay, have we talked to Detroit Lions fans? Like, they're not getting gift wrap shit right now, and they're still very close. What's that?
I said, or Miami and London, the overseas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. That could, well, right now they're still the 1 seed, so that might not hurt them much.
At that time, well, I'll tell you what, if that ends up costing them home field advantage, that would have killed them.
Yeah. That was awful. Absolutely awful. Like that, you changed the outcome of a game. And then you probably changed the outcome of a season, because what if they're not the 1 seed and they have Tua that needs to, get unbanged up, so to speak. He needs that 1 week. What if?
Needs that Florida weather. Forget about that. What if? And what if he needs to not play in the snow?
Yeah. Or London ever again.
It's crazy. And like, as you said, it always seems to favor a certain group of teams. Always.
And you can say Kansas City, or you can say, I bet you could limit it to about 5. You could say there's a group of 5 teams in the last 10 to 15 years that have benefited way more than our favorite teams.
Absolutely.
It seems like last year they decided to favor the Vikings on all these weird wishy-washy calls, and all we got out of it was a fucking banner that said we lost to Daniel Jones and got him paid. Like, do you think Daniel Jones sends the defensive coordinator from last year? I can't. He's escaping my mind. Ed Donatel. You think he sends him a Christmas card?
You know, you would hope at least a tie, some cologne, something,
anything, because that he like that playoff win from Daniel Jones that was against a defense that was like 11 Justin Eckerstormers out there just trying to fucking do whatever. Couldn't stop Daniel Jones. You can't even tell right now. You get like a bourbon and a half in me, and I go from purple positivity to just like
the reality, harsh reality.
Yeah, altruism. Yeah, absolute just brought down.
Put the sauce down. It's having the opposite effect. I
No,
prefer upbeatness.
No, it's I am upbeat though. That no matter what happens in this game, it's not going to affect me.
Right?
Do I want them? They're at a spot right now. The NFL and each individual season is all about opportunities, right? Like you have to take advantage of opportunities. Right now, the Vikings have an opportunity to take on a team that they should beat in a phenomenal stadium, which is it's probably going to have about 30 to 40% Vikings fans ticket prices. Because man, you can't buy a flight to Las Vegas right now for under a G. Like it's just
crazy,
especially from Minneapolis. Yep, we're gonna travel real well in this one.
Oh yeah,
but I mean that's the thing with new stadiums though. Like all the teams are gonna travel well because all the short, fat piece of shit fans like myself are gonna be like, I gotta go see the new stadium. Like I gotta go see the new stadium. That's what Dallas was suffering from when they spent $2 billion to build a stadium. Like they never really had home field advantage.
Well, you know who does have home field advantage, or if you could call it that, because the visiting team never wants to go there? That'd be the Niners.
Yeah.
That stadium. Have you ever been to Levi's?
Dude, I haven't been hardly anywhere.
$2 billion waste of money.
Is it shitty?
It is probably I have no idea how it is, but it is probably the hottest stadium I've ever sat in.
It's that hot. Like they don't
hot. Like you people are under the overhang because it's just that hot in the stands. I don't know what it's like on the field. I've been on the field briefly, but in the stands it's baking, especially on the side that's away from all the press side.
Yeah.
Blazing out there. I went out there for a preseason game, and then I think I went out for another game, and it was just like, yo, it is hot out here. I can't even sit in my seat.
Do any colleges play there, or is it just strictly Niners?
It was the Pac-12 championship until they opened up the Allegiant. It's strictly Niners.
And I'm assuming they got to have shade on their sidelines, or no?
They have the back of the stadium because it's right up against Great America.
Okay. Yeah, that's I don't know. Is that designed on purpose that way, just to have a $2 billion cesspool that nobody wants to go to because it's hot as fuck?
I wouldn't have put it there, but
right.
I wouldn't have moved it, but hey, it is what it is.
Location. The problem with the area that they had.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It was the hood, but even still, Candlestick Point was right out there on the bay. If you'd have just knocked it down, I think what it was they couldn't come to terms on building on the site. Is what it. Now that I think about it, the Candlestick was old. I don't believe that it was in the shape of the Coliseum when they moved out of it, but also it came about with the change of ownership from Eddie to Denise and John York.
All right, that makes sense. Have you been up to U.S. Bank in Minnesota yet?
I for obvious reasons, I'm not setting foot in Minnesota, but
Why so angry?
you happen to be a nice, friendly face to law enforcement in the Minnesota area, but
Oh, we're not all this. That's for sure. I can tell you that much.
yeah,
And that'll be a different podcast for another day.
right.
We did talk about it when the Floyd stuff did happen, but I mean we're not. I'm a corrections officer. I'm not like everyone in the jail. I've conducted myself in a manner in which I can go to the bar and an inmate will be sitting next to me, and we're very cordial. Like it's just that doesn't seem to be the case for a lot of guys.
No, it's a respect factor.
What's that?
I said it's a respect factor. You treat people with it, you shouldn't have nothing to worry about.
That's exactly it, man. And a lot of African American gentlemen are not getting the respect that they deserve. So I feel bad for you guys, man. You're still fighting the same fucking war. And I know this wasn't what we were going to talk about.
Supposed to be going today.
I'm just telling you right now. I just love you, man. That's just the way it is. That's just what I got to say. You started with the not coming to Minnesota thing. I was like, what? I got a really nice house that happens to be a little more empty now.
Look, it's nothing personal. You move out of Minnesota, and I'll come see you. Now, if you had a boat, we might be able to work something out.
And we'll see. We'll see how badly I get raked over in life.
Yeah. So we'll have to see those sea monsters you got out there and those Great Lakes.
Dude, it's fun. Walleye fishing, it's life for a lot of people.
I believe it. It looks amazing. Those walleyes get pretty big. I think somebody might have caught one out from underneath the dock where they weren't supposed to be fishing out here. And when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, you got a walleye out here? That's crazy. I didn't even know they had them in there."
I didn't think so either. I didn't know. Like I know some of these northern areas, but you go to like Iowa, Wisconsin, stuff like that, that's not what they're strictly fishing for. But you come to Minnesota, no one's going to ask you what you're fishing for. It's going to be walleye or bass. Like that's what,
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while you try to do some try to get some slaps when you're ice fishing, but that you're not going to be out on a boat trying to fish out a whole bunch of sunfish. Like that's for ice fishing, man.
No, I get it. Oh, but you want to plug your podcast before we get out of here, Justin? The wife just got home, and I think she's got dinner.
So anybody can follow me at the Sports Crib 21 on the Twitter or X, I should say, and then otherwise Purple Positivity. Not a real big following, but man, I fucking love doing it. And it's all about Beer Belly Sports. Their podcast network. They throw me on it, and they actually want to see video of me, which I feel bad because I'm like, okay, I'll do video. Every once in a while, I'll throw out the Farley face, and some people tend to like that, I guess. But otherwise, KNSI Radio in Central St. Cloud. I'm actually on the air every Saturday morning, 6 to 7 a.m. Big fisherman time.
Big fisherman time, huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
my accent hasn't gotten less Minnesotan since you and I have been on a podcast together. It doesn't get less Minnesotan.
No, it never will, and I wouldn't want it to. If you were to come out starting to sound like you're from the Bay, I'd have to look at you different. Like, what happened? You must be an imposter.
What's the matter? Anytime I go out east or west, people are like, hey, say the word boat. And I'm like, you mean like boat? like from a Minnesota boat, and they're like, ha 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 ha.
No, mine is Wisconsin. Say
Wisconsin.
no,
You
it's
like if you were
Wisconsin.
going grocery shopping, are you carrying a grocery bag or bag?
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, because like that's a big battle here too. Is it pop or soda?
Mm.
In Minnesota, it's pop, which is weird because we're Minnesota. Like, shouldn't people be like, hey, let's change the D to a T? It's SOTA. I don't know. I don't know, man. Why is it pop? I was wondering what you were doing. I was like, did I just get kicked out? Did I just get kicked out?
Said I've heard enough of this. I'm cutting you off. No more.
Fuck.
No goodbyes. You're out of here. Pulling
Damn
the plug
it.
on this for the last hour.
Sorry, I made everyone's life a living hell, but step into my brain for a little bit.
Hey, as long as you keep the power of positivity. There's too much negativity in the world going these days, my friend. And anybody who's willing to preach it and practice it and promote it to others is all right in my book.
Yeah, do we want to do a quick prediction? What do we got?
I leave that for you. You go first, and then I'll make my adjustment based off what you said.
Dude, I think it's 17-13 Vikes. I see a 4-point victory somehow or another. I see a weird, ugly one. 17-14 Vikes, and hopefully you get out of there with a win.
I will call it a 19-17 victory for the Raiders. Somehow, some way, they'll still manage to find a way not to score 20 points, despite having every conceivable opportunity to do so. The first 14 will come fast. Then it'll be like, yeah, we're just not going to get there, huh? We're going to the field goals. You like to see some consistent scoring, but it appears that we're only allowed 2 touchdowns a game. What can I say?
Well, the Vikings are really giving, so I mean they like to give the ball away.
Yeah, we've definitely seen them. The Raiders will take it, but I also know that they're very giving as well, and they usually give up 8 to 9 yards of cushion to every receiving option on the field.
One thing that will be interesting is I want to see the third wide receiver. I want to see who the Vikes decide to throw on that third wide receiver, because I don't think KJ Osborne's getting it done anymore. Now we're going to have Addison and Jefferson on the field at the same time. Who's going to be 3? That'll be that. Well, I mean, technically he's probably 1A, especially if Dobbs. I don't think Dobbs even looks anywhere else other than him. If it's a seam route, it's going to Hawkinson.
Yep.
If it's a quarter seam route, it's definitely going to Hawkinson. And if it's an outlet route that's short of the sticks by 8 to 10 yards, it's for sure going to Hawkinson. Like that's
without fail.
Tail as old as time. And I don't know if it's a Minnesota quarterback thing, but I love those tight ends, I guess. Hawkinson's good. I have nothing against Hawkinson. At least he can break a tackle, but it's just, frying pans. Like, can he catch a ball like on the first touch? That would be cool. That would make me feel a little better. Can Madison hold on to the ball? That'd be cool.
No, they can do all of that next week.
They're going to need to next week.
All of that next week, and down the stretch.
I have the distinct feeling the Vikings are not going to be a favorite the rest of the season, the rest of the way after this game.
They may not.
I just depends, especially if, say, they lose this game by 7 to 10 somehow. They're definitely not. Like they're not going to be favorites in Cincinnati, regardless of what happens. They're not going to be favorites. They're not going to be favorites either time against Detroit. They're not going to Green Bay. If Green Bay stays hot, the NFL keeps slathering on their Sickles.
They're winning games the hard way. What are you talking about? Jordan Love has been the second coming to Aaron Rodgers after his third year.
Yeah, if I'm telling you right now, if Jordan Love is a Hall of Fame quarterback for the next 20 years, I'm going to be so pissed off. Can you imagine 3? And if he only gets 1 Super Bowl victory, that would be great. The people in Sheboygan will just be falling over themselves, just be like, fuck. We have 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the last 60 years, and we have 3 Super Bowl championships. That's only if they get another one. That's only if they get another one.
Right.
But I can't say anything because I'm a Vikings fan. We're 0-4 in the big game. 0-5 of an NFC championship game since I've been alive.
And the amount of Montreal screw jobs going on in Minneapolis or St. Paul.
Yeah. There's something going on, man. Well, I wish you best of luck, man. I'm just glad you could have me on here. Next time we just got to chat.
Yeah, we should. It's been a blast. We'll have to do this in the off season when we can really have some freedom of conversation and speculations aplenty.
Yeah, I mean, this off season is going to be the make or break thing because for the Vikes anyway, like after next season, they're going to end up having like $170 million in cap space.
So the real question that I have for you before we cut this short, because you're my favorite Vikings fan, is do you re-sign Kirk Cousins or do you go and get your quarterback of the future?
That is up for debate. I see what we have without him, which, you know, not like a hard pass, but I'm like, you know, nah. I'd like to have him, but I'd like to have him on a marketably friendly deal. Maybe like hey, let's see if your injury's okay. Let's see, like, how bad was that Achilles? I saw him crawling to the ocean. Like, he didn't want to put any weight on it. And Aaron Rodgers did another retreat, and all of a sudden he's ho-hum better with his Achilles. So, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be running on his anytime soon. Yeah. Achilles. And that's
recovery.
I'm telling you, I think they will try. And I think that would be the right move, is to try on some sort of friendly deal. Because this year we don't have a shit ton of money. It's the year after that we got a shit ton of money. And if I were a betting man, I actually would, and I'm not saying it's the right move or not, but I think they sign him. Like, I think they try to find a way
to get it done.
And the scary part that would, you know, he's going to want 3 years because every aging quarterback wants 3 years. And the money, I'm hoping they just blow him away a little bit and say, okay, all these incentives are there. Let's do a Daniil Hunter-esque type thing. Let's give you 1 year. But he's such a family man. I don't think he's going to do that, man. Like, he wants that 3 years. And I think he could get that somewhere.
He will get it somewhere. If it's not in Minnesota, he for sure will get it someplace else. I had written an article recently. There were, out of this year's free agent quarterback crop is probably one of the worst I've ever seen. And last year's was bad too, but you had guys who got franchised. But this year's, there's nobody even worth franchising.
All the guys that are worthy of that big contract, the non-rookie contract, other than Russell Wilson, because I don't think he was worthy of what he got re-signed for. But
he's been playing his ass off. He's been playing his ass off recently. I thought I'm not gonna sit here in front. I thought Russell Wilson was done those 2 years, but I guess he had surgery, got his shoulder right, and he's back to normal. Now he's not running for the touchdowns, but he's still able to elude defenders and get and create with his legs. So and he's with Peyton, who's maximizing his abilities, and Denver's we could do a whole nother hour's worth of conversation about the turnaround that Denver had. But you're right. There's just not a ton of quarterbacks out there, and certainly not good ones.
That's it. That's the thing though too. But if Kirk Cousins is the top 3, how scared is everyone going to be with that Achilles? Like you know as well as I do, an aged quarterback with a torn Achilles. Is he ready by training camp? I don't think so.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready before the end of the season.
That's what they're trying to tell us. They just want to piss me off. That's what it is. They just want to get me mad.
The problem is your boy Kirk is a bitch.
This is his first time. This is his first time that he's actually been. It's basically a man cold. Like this is his first time. This is the first time where he's actually been injured.
Yeah,
like
no, but
all last season he was hurt. This year he's injured.
Yeah. In all seriousness, the whatever they're doing with Aaron Rodgers, I'm astounded. I'm just gonna wait to see what happens with that. But Achilles is nothing to play with, and when it pops and you go down like that, you're hoping that maybe you see that guy in some capacity back to where he was in 18 months.
It used to be a career ender. Like it used to be, you had a 50-50 shot. It was like a Liz Frank deal, like you had a 50-50 shot whether or not they were going to be any shell of themselves. It all depends on if they were young enough to do whatever they do, like to regenerate, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, if Aaron Rodgers literally takes any sort of snap this season, I will be flabbergasted. Like I can't think of a bigger word than that, but it would be astounding to me. In the regular season, if he takes a snap before playoffs, that's amazing to me.
I'm drug testing this man daily. I need to see medical records. Then I need to speak with his medical practitioner and educate myself on the new modern marvels of medicine.
Yeah. We're all going to be going to those darkness retreats. Like get our body and minds right.
Right.
I'm going to swear off raspberries and strawberries forever, I guess.
Right. Something about the darkness that goes down in there. Just
that's another podcast too. Something about the darkness.
Something about the darkness. We'll have to cut it off at there. It's been a pleasure, my man. Thank you for coming on. Truly good to have you. We will do this again sometime soon.
I just hope I didn't wreck all your subscribers like the people unringing that bell. So thanks for having me on, man.
No problem. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, God bless. We're out.
This is one word, 2 syllables. Ridiculous, right?